Hey, what's up guys? Tuki here, back again, this time with something a little bit different. As I had mentioned in videos as of late, I was looking at bringing the FHM 4 historical challenges that I had been running over on Twitch to YouTube, and this is the start of said series. I had been running a little bit low on time. FHM 4 kind of got pushed to the back of the line a little bit when it comes to the games that I've been wanting to play on Twitch, but I still really want to play through these historical challenges, and I thought, you know what, for now, let's put the Road to Glory series on the back burner. I'm not saying it's completely done. I think one way or another, I'll have an FHM Road to Glory series on my channel, whether it is on FHM 4 or when FHM 5 comes out. But the most fun I have had with this game by far has been these historical challenges. Now, for those who do not know, there is an historical challenge for all 30 teams. Of course, there is not one for the Vegas Golden Knights, although in FHM 5, who knows, I have a feeling that we'll see one, whether it's repeat and do what Vegas did the first time, which who knows, they might win the cup this year. The challenge might be to end up winning the cup if and when they probably do fall short. It would be pretty cool, I will say, though, to be able to redraft as Vegas in FHM 5, but that is off topic. There is an historical challenge for all 30 teams. You know what? Here, quickly, let me scroll through. You can pause the video over whatever team that you want. Of course, with this being an historical challenge, you'll notice many different years. Chicago starts back at the end of the 1920s. The most recent challenge will be the Winnipeg Jets, which we will get down to here in a moment, and that is where you continue on with the newly relocated Winnipeg Jets as you try to make the playoffs by the end of 2014. That was actually a highly requested challenge, and I feel bad with me going in alphabetical order that we might have to wait a very long time to do that. I will say, though, before we get into this series, of course, the thumbnail and the title gave it away. We're going in alphabetical order. We are starting with the Anaheim Ducks. I do want to mention that I have completed some of these challenges on Twitch already, and I'm undecided as to whether or not I want to go back through them. I think I probably will, just to have all 30 on the channel, but we have completed the Boston Challenge, the New York Islanders Challenge, the Philadelphia Flyers Challenge, Tampa, and Vancouver. Some easier than others. The Vancouver Challenge is a little bit infamous. It took me 13 attempts to beat it on Twitch, but that did help me prepare and help me get used to the game so that when I came up to the Islanders Challenge, which is also quite difficult and notorious, we were able to beat that on the first attempt. So I'm feeling pretty good when it comes to my abilities to complete these challenges. So like I said, if you were a fan of the Road to Glory series, in one way, shape, or form, it will be back at some point. But because I still need to get my fix of FHM, and I don't exactly have time to work it into the schedule on Twitch, what better way to continue it than to bring these challenges over to YouTube? So as I mentioned, we are starting with the Anaheim Ducks. That challenge is to win the Stanley Cup in the 2002-2003 season. Now, that cup final is remembered for really one man's performance, that being J.S. Giguere. John Sebastian Giguere won the MVP. He won the Conn Smythe Trophy as the MVP of the playoffs, despite being on the losing team, which is a very, very rare thing to do. The New Jersey Devils beat the Anaheim Ducks in 7 games in 2003, and it's our job to take control of the Ducks and to change their fortune, to end up winning the cup. Instead of J.S. Giguere falling just short of dragging the Ducks across the finish line, we're getting across that finish line, and we have one season to do it. So here we are. Let's go. Let's get this challenge underway. Again, it's a one-season challenge. We have to win in our first year. And quickly, because I skipped over this part, you can see how I managed to set up my own personal player, really putting the emphasis on negotiating and in-game tactics. Negotiating because, of course, again, it's a one-year challenge. We don't have to worry about the draft. That is not a factor whatsoever. But as we take a look at our roster, we are going to have to try and hire the best staff that we can. We'll also be taking a look at the free agent center before signing anyone. I want to show you guys this roster. Now, for those who aren't familiar with FHM4, the rating system is pretty simple. It's a half-star to 5-star in both ability and potential. So a 1.5-star player isn't too bad. That includes former Pittsburgh Penguin and Buffalo Sabre head coach Dan Bilesma. A 2-star player is pretty good, and then you get someone like Paul Kariya, who is an absolute monster in this game. Unfortunately for us, much like he was in real life, he is a little bit injury prone. Everyone has ratings 0 to 20. Some players, though, have above a 20. For example, Wayne Gretzky, throughout most of his years, will have above a 20. There are going to be examples of some players as well. I imagine we could check Detroit, for example. They might have a player that has an above a 20 rating, and Lidstrom might be the guy. The reason why I bring up Detroit, though, is because when you look back at the 02-03 Ducks, and surprisingly, he actually doesn't have a stat, but over 20, but you get my point. When you look back at this team, you see this roster and compare it to, say, what we just looked at with Detroit. You see the star ratings here as compared to the defending Stanley Cup champion Red Wings, who had numerous more game changers on their team. It's amazing that Anaheim finished 7th in the conference. So they barely made the playoffs. Of course, the top 8 teams made the playoffs. They barely made it, so to speak. And then in the first round, they played the defending champion Red Wings and swept them. Of course, they ended up going to Game 7 and losing to New Jersey in the Stanley Cup final. So it's pretty amazing that this team accomplished what they were able to accomplish without any major additions. The only player that I see missing is Sandis Ojelej, whose name I am probably butchering, former member of Colorado, San Jose, Florida. He was all over the place in his NHL career, but a very strong and reliable defenseman. He was actually traded mid-season from the Florida Panthers in exchange for Matt Cullen, a dude named Pavel Trinka, and a draft pick. So we could try to replicate that move if we wanted to. Of course, Matt Cullen's still playing today, now with the Minnesota Wild, was 25 years old at this point in time. But aside from that, they did not make any major changes. It's pretty ridiculous. We, on the other hand, will be making changes, and that's going to get underway right now as we are going to look to get the best staff that we possibly can. That is going to start off by getting the best trainer that we possibly can, so we want to look at the best physio ratings, and that comes down to Michael Carapita and Taylor Wasden, or Wasden, could be. And really, I mean, they're both very good physios. I'm going to go with this guy because he's got great motivation. That's what we need. We need our players to be motivated, to be determined. As far as hiring scouts, it's not necessary for us whatsoever, so we'll just focus on getting, of course, the best staff available. So for goaltending coaches here, we have 3 that are listed as great. However, 1 is very good with prospects, and for that reason, Josh Danielson will be the hire. Again, I'm not too worried about prospects, but some of the younger players on our team could benefit from having him as a coach. It's for that reason that we'll also go with Olin Wozniak as our defense coach. Defensive skills are both poor, but he's very good at coaching defense. So go figure, right? Although I got to admit I'm a little bit sad about not hiring Brian Waldo. On the offensive side of things, good at coaching prospects, very good offensive skills. Shane Smith is the hire, no doubt about that. And then we look for the best physio. And the best one at coaching prospects is this guy, Damon Cuvallo. Damon Cuvallo. Could be Chuvallo. Not entirely sure, but he will also be hired. So we take a look at training. We take a look at the best goalie coach, which, to be honest, we don't need both Danielson and Wozniak. We could have just gone with Wozniak, but that's all right. Let's hire Danielson. Wozniak will be... Actually, wow, we already had a great defense coach. Go figure. That is all right, though. This guy is... he's the better way to go, I would say. Actually, let's check Wozniak. You know what's funny? The guy we had was already good enough. Well, what do you know? Fine by me, Wozniak, buddy. You are out of here. Enjoy your free paycheck. I'll just give you $11,000 for no reason. Have a nice 11 grand. I know I didn't actually fire him. I'll have to go back and do that in a second. Let's make Shane Smith the offensive coach. The skill coach, which would be physical training, is going to be Chuvalo. And just like that, we're good to go. So let's take a look at our assistant coaches. Chuvalo has a spot. Couillard has a spot. Danielson does as well. Smith does. That means we just need to get rid of Wozniak. So we threw a little bit of money down the drain, but as you can see, we're fine. It's not a concern. If this was a multi-year deal, then I might be concerned about it, but we're in a spot where I can afford to waste a little bit of cash. Now, moment of truth here. Let's see who is available on the free agent list, and we have some decent names. Marek Zidlichki, Sheldon Souray, Dominik Hasek, and Ilya Bryzgalov, probably the 4 biggest names on this list in terms of potential. Briz is up there, but we also have Chris Kunitz, who honestly I think we'll have the rights to. Nicholas Backstrom, the goaltender's there. Johan Franzen, Joffrey Lupul. We might be able to make this work. No, I will not be signing Alex Burrows. If you know anything about me, that's not going to happen. Question is, how many of these guys can we sign? We have $7.8 million to spend, as you can see right there. Now, I'm intrigued to see what we can do. We can only offer him a 2-way deal, which is a little bit concerning. I'll meet his demands. I'm still going to technically be offering him less than what he wants. So that's unfortunate. If I have him as a prospect, will he accept? No, he will not. He is determined to get that higher funding. Am I allowed to change that offer there? Apparently I'm not. I'm not allowed to change that. We might have trouble signing you, to be honest, because I can't bump that amount up. I can only drop it. So I'm offering him the max deal. I'm only allowed to send him an entry-level deal. And hey, that worked. So labeling him as a blue chip prospect was the answer. Perfect. Hopefully nobody else sends him an offer, but I'm hoping that'll be good enough. We have Sheldon Souray, former Oiler and Hab. If I'm not mistaken, I know definitely a member of the Habs, obviously, but that rivalry wants a 3-year deal, which I am more than willing to offer him if he's willing to accept it. So that's solid. We will look to bring in Dominik Hasek. Whether or not I run him as a backup or just immediately trade him, well, there's my answer. Looks like we're going to be holding on to him because he wants a no-movement clause. But to have Dominik Hasek, even at 37 years old, as your backup, he wants to be the starter. That's not going to happen. Can I make you a backup? I'll give you the no-movement. I will also give you more money. Money for free agents drops quickly, though, because of the amount of money that he wants. Worth it, though. Worth it, because I can immediately move out some players. So what if I bump this up to, let's go 3.25 mil? Your response? He is pleased. Good. So we have $1.5 million left. The only guy that needs to be signed is Bryzgalov, who I feel like we have the rights to. Let's check our depth chart. We don't have the rights to him. We do have the rights to Joffrey Lupul, P.A. Parento, Tim Brent, Maple Leafs legend Tim Brent. So we can make that work in our favor. Let me just double check that, though, as we look at the rights. And indeed, so Lupul, Parento, Tim Brent, we have their rights. If we see them on the free agent list, that is why they're not actually free agents. But Ilya Bryzgalov is free to sign, so let's take a look. He wants a boatload. He wants a boatload of money. And he is more important to sign than Dominik Hasek. So we might have potentially screwed this up already, I can admit. But that's alright. Is that Doug Murray? Former San Jose Shark and Montreal Canadian great Douglas Murray. He's not wanting that much money, to be honest. An entry-level deal for him as well. We'll see if we can sign him up. Again, I'm going to have to move some contracts to make this work anyway. So Chris Kunitz would also be another player that we should definitely look at signing, and we still have enough to offer him this deal as well. I'm just wondering who I'm going to try to move out to free up the cap space now to sign Brzgalov, maybe even go after Backstrom and Franzen. So let's take a look here at our team. And who's making the most money is my question. We got Korea, Sikora. Is there anyone who's not that great that's making a ton of money? 1.5 stars. Smirnov. He's 20 years old, making just under $1 million. I was more thinking along the lines of Stanislav Chistov, who is a 1-star player. So it's not looking that great in terms of players that I can actually move out. Now, I am getting a lot of help here. I'm bringing in some players. Now, there's no guarantee that all these guys will sign. I'm bringing in some players, though, that would certainly help the outlook of this team. Getting Brzgalov would be nice because of the higher potential. He'd certainly be worth more. That doesn't mean, though, that we can't look to make a move right now. So with that said, who could we go out to get to make this happen? And I'm thinking if we move Chistov, who honestly, yeah, he's not making that much, though. He's really not making that much. We do have Smirnov. I'm surprised. A lot of these guys, let me take a look at, would it be the rules? It would be finances, wouldn't it? So the issue is more our budget as opposed to, of course, the salary cap. So our owner isn't giving us the most money to work with, which I suppose would be accurate, seeing, you know, where the Mighty Ducks were at the time. So what do we want to do is the question, and I think we are going to want to get rid of 2.5-star Smirnov. Although, you know what, let's move Chistov first. I feel good about moving Chistov. So we're going to move Chistov. We're all, you know what can I get draft pick-wise for him? What are the Atlanta Thrashers willing to move? Now, here's a quick little tip and secret. If we take back someone who is just not great for them, say Dallas Eakins, for example, if we take back a bad contract, that'll help us out a little bit. They don't want to move a first-round pick. They're all right with moving a second. What about 2 seconds? Hardly likely. Okay, let's go second and third. Well-balanced. They rarely accept well-balanced. They want to make sure they're getting as much value in their favor as you can, or as they can. So we're going to have to just rely on getting the second-round pick, which I'm good with. Chistov for a second-round pick. If I take out Eakins, I'm not even sure if that would go through. So we will offer that. Not sure if it'll go through in time to help us get everybody that we want. We are going to go AI setup organization there. And we are good to move forward. In just one moment, I wanted to check the protected list, which of course we really don't have to worry about. Contracts, we're at 38 out of 50. So it's looking all right. It's looking all right. I'm not forgetting to do anything here, am I? It's been a little bit since I've played. I think we're okay. So let's hit continue. Of course, we do our signing. Welcome to the Ducks family. That's all well and good. The season preview, as you see guys like Alex Ovechkin, Corey Perry, Patrice Bergeron being added in to the league. So that moved nice and quickly. No one has signed with us yet, have they? We have Popovich, Holmquist, and Reardon. All right, well, let's just assign these numbers. Of course, this will change quite consistently. Holmquist, I mean, buddy, you're not getting your number. Steve Urchin is more valuable to this team than you are. Tom Reardon, have fun with the number 47. You can be pissed off you didn't get your number. That's all well and good. Atlanta has accepted our trade. Let's send Stan Chistov over. We'll bring in Dallas Eakins, and we'll also get that second-round pick from the Thrashers, which won't be, you know, our asset for too much longer, obviously. I mean, the main goal is to win the Cup in year one, so of course we'll be moving that pick as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, that didn't free up as much space as we would have liked. So let's see. If Brzgalov is out of the question, we've already sent the offer to Kunitz. What is Backstrom looking for? Backstrom wants $390. It's not bad. I will gladly send an offer out to Backstrom, who's willing to accept a two-way deal. We'll also take a look at Johan Franzen, since we don't have to worry about Joffrey Lupul. Franzen's looking for 525, so that's a little bit too much. We also have Mark Streit. All right, let's see if we can sign Mark Streit. What's he looking for? 355. All right, so we're going to be a little bit too low at this point in time, but that's okay. To be honest, we can go to depth, and we can just buy out Dallas Eakins now. That's expensive, but let's do it. We can afford to take the damage, and that frees up some money, which is, of course, pretty nice. Is there anybody else here where it just makes sense for us to buy them out? I'm sure there is. Oh my God, is there? Now, these are players here that we're not going to be able to move. We'll start off with Nemenko and Domfus. Now, the money that we lost, I'm honestly not sure where we lost it. It might have been out of the budget. I'm looking here. Offered contracts, available calculations, expenses. I'm looking for buyout, and I'm not seeing it. So I think we're okay, kind of, sort of. So I'm going to continue to risk it. Nemenko, let's buy out your rights, buddy, to free up that contract spot. Yes, we have to pay the money, but that's all right. We'll also buy out JF Domfus. And that has led us to have $1.1 million available to us, which is pretty neat. So let's go to Johan Franzen, and we will offer you that contract, good sir. That's the one thing this team is missing, is a mule. We'll also look to bring in Mark Streit, who we now have enough to offer him a deal as well. Although he wants a little bit more, which is fine. We'll bump it up to 375, ask for a response, and there we go. Of course, still no guarantees that we're going to get everybody here. We do have the top offer for some of the early contracts that we've sent out, but odds are there will be a bidding war, as you would expect. And you know what? I said I wasn't going to do it. What does he want? 355. I mean, he's speaking of players I'm going to move immediately. Probably him. Let's see, though. Who else do we have that has 1-star ability or potential? We have Belanger, Shellberg, and Geet, as well as Smith. So Belanger, Shellberg, Geet, and Smith. Let's take a look. So Ben Geet, I'm sorry, buddy. You gotta go. Shellberg, you got to go. Whew, he wants a lot of money, but that's okay. Or he doesn't want a lot of money, he's commanding a lot of money. Which, hey, it is what it is. It's not my money, it's the owner's money. So, yeah, and let's take a look here. Who was the other guy at this point? Smith, the center. Now, Meline, being 1-star potential, we might be able to move him and the other guys, we'll see. But Smith is the last guy that we want to buy out, old Nick Smith. So let's do that, pay the money that we got to pay that man his money, and let's see, we now have 1.4 million to spend. So again, we're in a little bit of a bind when it comes to being able to afford Ilya Bryzgalov, but everybody else, it's looking pretty good. Burrows, of course you're asking for more money. Of course you are. You're that type of scumbag. And you're multiple kinds of scumbag. But there we go. Let's sign him up. Submit the offer. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. So that is it for the 2.5-star potential players, aside from Lupul, who we have the rights to, and Bryzgalov. We still have 1.1 million for free agents, which is pretty nice. So I could go after an Eric Perrin, a Jan Heda. I believe that's 21-year-old Kevin Bieksa. I mean, there's some names here. I think that's Joel Ward as well, Matt Karkner. There are familiar names that we could go after. For now, let's hold off. Actually, let's double check how many contracts we have. 31 out of 50. Never mind. I think the one guy we're not going to get is Bryzgalov, but we're in line to basically be able to sign everybody else. So let's go after Eric Perrin. How much does he want? 850. Ugh. Never mind. Let's look for the younger guys like Kevin Bieksa. Maybe bring him to Anaheim a little bit sooner than what happened in real life. And he, again, wants a little bit more. That's all right, Kevin. I don't consider you a scumbag. It's fine. I'm not even being sarcastic. You deserve it, buddy. For having that Superman punch, you deserve it. We got enough for one, maybe two more contracts here, and I think I can't go to Joel Ward. He's only 1.5 potential, apparently. At least he is at the time. Now, potentials can change. We don't have time to wait for that to happen. Let's see what Jan Hayda is looking for. 355. Sounds good to me. And again, he wants a little bit more. I'm not sure why why you set it to meet demand, and it still kind of lowballs him a little bit. But there we go. That offer's out as well. Let's move forward. We'll keep an eye out on negotiations moving forward. And Chris Kunitz and Douglas Murray have both signed. Tremendous. Whether or not they stay on this team, well, the answer is probably not. Because, again, it's a one-year challenge. It makes sense to wheel and deal. But what we will take a look at is whether or not we still have the top offer for everybody. And we do. So that's tremendous. So let's go to roster. And again, we'll just go AI setup organization. We shouldn't lose anybody on waivers or anything. It is the preseason. We should be good to go. Let's go ahead and hit play game for now. We'll delete these messages. Let's hit play game for now. We're playing in the preseason here against Toronto. And we'll just sim the game. And it is a 5-4 win. Eddie Belfour couldn't do much to stop us. Take a look at the email. Keith Carney's improving on defense, which is good news for us. We might need him, depending on how much we can manage to do. Oh, good Lord. The Phoenix Coyotes have lost Landon Wilson. He's out for 9 months with a fractured skull. The injuries in this game can be quite brutal. Zidlichki has signed with us. But yeah, the injuries in this game can be downright brutal. They can be downright hilarious with, again, if you've seen me play this on Twitch or if you're familiar with the game yourself, we've had people fall off rooftops. And I'm surprised. I don't think the Dustin Penner injured while eating pancakes is in the game, which I'm shocked because that is probably the most hilarious and ridiculous injury in the history of the NHL. Nice 3-1 win over Toronto yet again in the shootout. 5-4 and 3-1. Let's see here. What else are we dealing with? As Burrows, Streit, Hasek, Souray, and Hayda have all signed deals. Tremendous. This is going quite well in terms of signing up everybody that we're looking to get here, just to kind of artificially bolster what we have on this team. So let's take a look again. Let's go to roster. We'll go to AI setup. Free agent list. It's just Backstrom, Bieksa, Franzen, Perrin, and Briz. Now we have $2.1 million to spend. That is still, unfortunately, not enough to sign Briz, but it's really close. Oh, it's really close. So my thought, what if I go 1 year? We go for the 2.5. Am I allowed to offer more than that? That was weird. Can I go 2.5? Let's go 2.5 and then a ton of zeros. So we got our 1, 2, 3. Oh boy, I need a little bit more than that. Let's go. Can I go with the dots? I can't. All right, let's try this. Meet demand. And instead of that, I offer you the role of blue chip prospect, and you accept a little bit less in terms of money. And you know what? Here, I'll even offer you 1 year, and I'll make you a blue chip prospect. Not what he wants. All right, let's go 2 years, blue chip prospect. How about the 4 years, blue chip prospect? Damn it. Can I go star player? Oh boy, oh, he's getting mad too. He's getting mad. I cannot send him another offer or we're going to risk losing him. So, with that said, let's look to free up a little bit more money. And if we look at our depth, I mean, keeping Martin Gerber might be the right idea. Let's see who else we have here. Let's look at the 1-star potential guys, not ability. So, actually, that would define Gerber. So we have Severson, Krog, Wrigley. Actually, you know what? Do I want to make this move with Atlanta? Maybe let's look at Boston. Let's look at Boston. So Severson, Krog, Wrigley, Gerber, and Meline. we will look to move you guys out in exchange for, let's go with Colton Orr. I'll gladly take Colton Orr. That's well balanced, which is hilarious. The problem is when you try to trade multiple people like this to one team, they often just don't budge. But I just want to get rid of them for absolutely nothing, for the most part, without having to buy them out. Which, to be honest, it might make more sense to buy them out at this rate. What if I add Carl Corazzini? No. Hey, you know what? It might make sense to buy them out. I feel like I could get a little bit for them, but I need to get rid of them right now. So Severson, Krog, Brigley, Gerber, Meline. We will look to buy out Martin Gerber. It's a lot of money to pay him, but that's fine. We will buy out Severson. We'll buy out Jason Krog. I forget the other guy, but there's also Bjorn Meline, who needs to be bought out. And that should free up the money to send Briz the offer that he wants. And it actually didn't. We lost money on that deal. Whoops. So, as it turns out, even though it didn't look like it before, I guess the money for free agents still factors in, although I didn't see that number change previously. You know what, though? I'm still okay with it, because we did get rid of some players that we didn't necessarily need. So let's wait to hear back. We can sim an extra day, and we'll offer the numbers here to whoever wants them. I'm not sure what happened there, to be honest. I thought the money total was being taken out, but hey, you learn something new every day. I don't claim to be an expert at this game. I just really enjoy it. Take a look at the free agent center. Still at 1.2. We are still the top offer for the majority of these teams. We're playing Philly and Pittsburgh in back-to-back games against Roman Czechmanek. And we stay undefeated here in the preseason with a 5-1 win, as we still don't have anything yet, so we'll have to play Pittsburgh here in a moment. Although we might be getting the update now, and indeed we do. Backstrom, Bieksa, and Franzen have all signed. I knew I should have tried to trade those guys, but to be honest, I didn't think the money total was going through. Trust your gut. I remember that. That's a lesson, and every time I've told the story before. 5th grade teacher, guy named Mr. Powell, great guy, great teacher. He always said, go with your instinct, go with your gut. And every time, I can confirm, every time I've gone back on my instinct, it's come to haunt me. So, shout out to Mr. Powell, he was right. The question is, can I get a deal done with Ilya Bryzgalov? And I don't think I can. So, let's put that thought on the back burner, and let's look to make our first big move, and we will do so by taking a look at every team and what they have to offer. So I care more about the players that are actually available right now. Of course, we have Danny Heatley, who will add to the shortlist. Ilya Kovalchuk, only a 3-star player at this point in time, but he's 19. We have Victor Kozlov and Sean McEachern. I don't know if you can hear the dog having a puppy dream in the background. It's adorable, but yeah, doggy snooze. Oh boy. All right, so anybody 2.5-star or better is who we're going to look to target here with this deal. And of course, this also gives you a look at the team's rosters at this point in time, which I gotta be honest, I'm not really sure who I'm going to go for here. I kind of just want to raid the Bruins, which shouldn't be a surprise, how I loved this roster at the time. And a special shout-out, why isn't the shortlist working? Is he already on the shortlist? Brian Berard, already on the shortlist. All right, Mike Knuble. Did I already add you? I didn't. All right, cool. Shout-out to Jonathan Girard. Jonathan Girard was my dude. Let's see, Miroslav Shatan, the only guy really worth getting on Buffalo. Oh, my God, there's so many teams to go through. Calgary. You have Jerome Iginla. He was on the cover of NHL in this year. And Mark Savard, EA NHL, of course. Let's look at Carolina. Rod Brindamore and Ron Francis. I mean, what's better than 1 Ron on your team? 2. Chicago. Steve Sullivan, Alexei Zhamnov, Eric Daze. The pre-Patrick Kane and Jonathan Taves days. Oh, my God. Whew, don't know if you noticed, we're in the Western Conference. We got to go through these guys. Oh, baby. That's going to be fun to try and do now, isn't it? I'm not even going to add Patrick Waugh to the short list. I know he's 36. That ain't happening. I'll add him for the hell of it, but that is not happening. Let's take a look at Columbus. You have Ray Whitney and 18-year-old future Boston Bruin Rick Nash also there. And David Viborny, underrated NHLer. So we take a look at Dallas. Again, some logos are accurate to the time, others aren't. It's kind of weird. We have Daryl Sador, Darian Hatcher, Billy Guerin. To be honest, I could do this off screen, but you know what? I'm committed to it. And like I said, it gives you guys a good look at what the rosters were at the time. You can see the ratings at the time, and that way, nobody has to ask me. And if you ask me, hey, what about this prospect who's not on the team, I'm going to tell you to kick rocks because of how time-consuming this already is. Let's add Mr. Datsuk. We'll add Cujo. Yzerman. I know it's Yzerman. I can't help but think, and I blame Steve Dangle for this. I think, actually, no, it was Adam Wilde that said it. And I looked up the clip, and he wasn't lying. Bill Clinton once pronounced it Steve Yzerman, and I have to say it that way every time now. So shout out to Adam Wilde for ruining the name Steve Yzerman for me, which sucks because he's obviously, debatably the best GM in the league in the NHL right now. So, you happen to hear his name a lot. Look at these Florida Panthers, by the way, including Sandis Ojelej and a 23-year-old Roberto Luongo. I mean, this version of the Panthers wasn't completely miserable, I guess. LA, we have 33-year-old Matthew Schneider, Jason Allison, and Zygmunt Ziggy Palffy. Still one of my favorite names in NHL history. The Minnesota Wild at the time, Marian Gaborik. Of course, everyone remembers this year, at least if you're a Wild fan, this was the year that they eliminated Colorado in the postseason, if I'm not mistaken, the 02-03 playoffs. If not, hey, it was right around the time. You can't blame me for getting it wrong. We have Jose Theodore, former Calder winner. Hart winner, too, wasn't he? Andrei Markov and Saku Koivu. Let's look at Nashville. And to be honest, they have three guys higher rated than I thought they would be. David Legwand, Dan Hamhuis, which Hamhuis just played his 1,000th game, didn't he? And Nashville honored him. It was in Nashville. Pretty cool. Kimmo Timonen's also there. New Jersey. Oh boy. Brian Rafalski. Scotty Gomez. How long's Elias out for? 2 to 3 months. We'll avoid him. Scott Niedermayer. Maybe we can bring him to Anaheim a bit early. And then, of course, the 5-star wonder. Oh, boy, Martin Brodeur. The Islanders. Alexei Yashin. That's about it. In fairness, Osgood, Hammerlick, Pekka, Kenny Odson, Jason Blake were all okay. You do have Rick DiPietro there, but yeah, the Yashin trade. Way to go, Milbury. Mike Milbury, still their GM at this point in time. Mike Milbury, for those who don't realize, was the Islanders GM for a decade. Somehow, some way, and Islanders fans, I'm sorry for bringing it up, but it needs to be said, somehow, some way, he hung around. What's up with Mark Messier right now? How long's he out for? 1 to 2 weeks? It's not too bad. Mark Messier in Anaheim. Peter Nedved showed up to camp out of shape. That's what UNF means. And then we have Brian Leetch, who right around this time went to the Boston Bruins. Bruins legend. Brian Leetch. The Ottawa Senators with Marian Hossa, who's a monster. Zdeno Chara, your favorite and mine, and Martin Havlat. They're also looking pretty good. 2003, if I'm not mistaken, was a really good year for the Senators. Phillips, Wade Redden, Radek Bonk, Alexei Volchenkov, very young Jason Spezza, very highly rated in this game. The Philadelphia Flyers with Mark Recchi. And we'll also mark down quite a few guys here. We have Simon Gagne, Eric Desjardins. I believe this is a very young Justin Williams, if I'm not mistaken. We'll leave out Daniel McGillis, another former Bruin, though. Phoenix Coyotes with Danny Briere. How many people remember Danny Briere in Phoenix, by the way? Shane Doan, and Damon Langkow. Who else do we have here? Pittsburgh. It's about right for Pittsburgh at the time. Mario Lemieux, who honestly is a good example of someone who should have over a 20 for an individual rating. Very injury prone at this point in time. There you go, 21s with puck handling, offensive read as a team player. So obviously not as dominant as he would have been in years past. He's 36 years old at this point in time, but still 5-star ability. How could you not have Mario Lemieux at 5-star ability? We have the San Jose Sharks with Teemu Selanne. Yes, I have my eyes on bringing back Teemu Selanne, trust me. We also have Owen Nolan, Patty Marleau. God, the Sharks team is pretty damn good. Patrick Stewart. Yeah, Patrick Stewart is on this team. Brad Stewart. I got Patrick Marleau and Stewart confirmed. Yeah, let's bring in Patrick Stewart to the team. All of our problems will be solved. Whew, that defense. He's 39 years old, but Al McInnes is available. We also have Chris Pronger, Keith Tkachuk, Corey Stillman. Damn, Blues are looking pretty good at this point in time, too. Barrett Jackman, former Calder winner, Pavel Demitra, and Doug Waite. And from there, as we're almost through these teams, the Tampa Bay Lightning closing in on the Stanley Cup. Vinny Lecavalier, Brad Richards, Martin St. Louis, Dan Boyle as well. From there, we go to Toronto with Matt Sundin, and I say Toronto the way I do because of The Rock. And I say it mockingly. I know, Toronto, it's fine. But anyone who is a wrestling fan in 2003 knows exactly how The Rock said Toronto. And if not, feel free to YouTube The Rock Toronto, and you'll find out why I can't help but chuckle every time I see the word Toronto, and why I can't take the Leafs seriously. But don't worry, I'm sure I'll take the Leafs very seriously when they inevitably play the Bruins in the first round of this year's playoffs, which, I mean, judging on recent success for the Bruins against Toronto, even though the Bruins are a hell of a team this year, not thinking I'm going to be all that happy about it. And then, oh my God, the legend himself, Jaromir Jagr, Sergei Gonchar as well, Peter Bondra, and Robert Lang. So as we go back and we get a look at our short list, obviously it's not going to be that short, but we have all of our primary targets here, and the reason why I wanted to do that is because now we can look for the individual targets that we want, particularly in goal. So the question is, would someone like Patrick Waugh be out of the question? Let's find out, shall we? Now, the reason why I think it might be possible, maybe, possibly, probably not, we do have Jagr that we could use to kind of give up. But the reason why I'm thinking it might be possible is because he's older. Now, if we throw in Joffrey Lupul, P.A. Parento, how much will it take? Is a first rounder enough? What about a second? It's possible. I could get Patrick Waugh. It is possible. Question now, is Martin Brodeur possible to acquire? I don't think he will be in the slightest. But maybe, just maybe, it's worth a shot. And I'll also look to give up Nick Backstrom in this deal instead of Jagr. We'll give up Lupul. We'll give up Parento. We will offer you a first and a second. And that's not going to be enough. All right, so getting a 5-star goaltender is possible. In the form of Patrick Waugh, we know we can remove Martin Brodeur. So it makes me wonder then, Luongo's probably more difficult to get. So I'm thinking then, our goaltending situation, seeing their age, I don't think Luongo will be possible. Let's do our due diligence though, and check this out. Let's go to potentials. Again, we'll go to Backstrom. Of course, our draft picks are going to be very, very valuable for us because they're going to be projected to be high selection. So we want to be very careful with them. Luongo is not going to be a possible addition. So I'm thinking, by process of elimination here, of course, if we want to get an improvement, that improvement would be in the form of Ed Belfour or Patrick Waugh. I do think we could get Waugh. Now that I know that it's possible, I'm going to remove these other goaltenders, of course, some of which have better potential, but we know who we want to get. It's going to be one of these two. And it's potentially going to be Patrick Roy, which would be insane. But it is a possibility. Again, 36 years old, still, not exactly injury prone. And if we look at the ratings here, again, he is still an absolute monster. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. We'll leave the short list the way it is for now. If we look at left defensemen, we have quite a few names. The question, whether or not someone like Lidstrom or Pronger is available. So let's take a look here first at Nicholas Lidstrom. And again, we'll use, say, Chris Kunitz this time. Yeah, they have a weakness at center, but, I mean, it's going to be what it's going to be. So let's go to rights, Lupul, Parento. We go to our selections. We throw in a first, we throw in a second, and it might just be possible to get Nicholas Lidstrom. Now, here's the thing. That's going through without me going to Detroit and saying, hey, who's pretty bad on your team? Darren McCarty is one of those players. And you see, just by default, me adding Darren McCarty, this goes from I don't think they'll accept to well-balanced, and that is where I can save value. So we know that we might actually be able to get somebody like Nicholas Lidstrom or Chris Pronger, which is insane. And then not to mention potential other depth additions if we wanted to go after someone like a Brian Berard. So that's why I wanted to mark down everybody, because if we couldn't afford a Lidstrom or a Pronger, eventually we'd be able to work our way to it, but at the very least we could settle for a Niedermayer, which, my God, if I'm going to settle for a Niedermayer, right? Chara, Matthias Ohlund, Sandis Ojelins as well. If we look at right defenseman, Al McInnes is the big one, and again, we pretty much know we can get him, not to mention, he's 39 years old. It would make sense to get someone like him for a one-year challenge, especially when I'd be able to get him for relatively cheap. Taking a look at the left wings we have eligible. Danny Heatley's the big name, although I think it'll more than likely be a Shanahan, a Kachuk, and a Whitney. That would be the better additions and the more likely additions. We look at right wing, Jaromir Jagr. Is that possible? I don't know if it will be to get 2 5-star players, but you never know. So let's say we add in Kunitz to the deal. Of course, we wouldn't have a Lupul and a Parento on this occasion. And we'll add in our first and a second, and more than likely, we're not getting anywhere near Jaromir Jagr, which is understandable. We'll add Graham Mink. I think this guy's name is Colin Forbes. I was going to say Clinton. I can't say I was expecting to be right there. Actually, this era of Capitals, there he is. Former Portland Pirate, great Rostislav Stanya. Oh my God. I wanted his jersey so bad. But the AHL, especially back in 2003, they weren't great in terms of selling jerseys. If I were to add this Sikora, the knockoff Peter Sikora, that actually drops the value. What about Ferraro? What about Tiverdon? Yeah, so we might have trouble making this happen one way or another. I don't know if we'd be able to get Jagr, guys. So that's disappointing. Let's go back, though. You want to talk about another player who has the chance of having over a 20? It would be Jaromir Jagr. But Marian Hossa, Jerome McGinley, they might be possible. Jagr's a little bit injury prone, but good God, that offensive category, including the 21s in passing and offensive read and the 22 in balance, which makes sense. Even to this day, Jagr is still notoriously difficult to knock off the puck. So obviously some very good options there as well if we play our cards right. And then at center, Lemieux, Sakic, Thornton, Forsberg. I mean, my God, the names here. Now, I'm thinking, again, we'll have to settle for the 3.5 range, but it's nice to have all of these names in one place so we know exactly who we are going to target. So with that said, I didn't expect this to be episodic. It's going to have to be episodic, but that's okay. We'll make a good amount of progress in the next episode. We will go ahead. We will... Oh, what will we do? We'll make all the trades you have to make. Basically, episode 2 is going to be the entire season. We might even do the playoffs. This might be 3 episodes, which, hey, it is what it is, but I'm more than willing. I mean, again, with a challenge like this, you have to take your time. You have to do it right. You can't try to shortcut it because you won't end up getting the assets that you need. You have to play it smart. So it gives you guys a look at the world we currently find ourselves in, September 29th of 2002. And depending on the moves we make here, this team, which is already quite different from the team we started with not all that long ago, is more than likely going to look drastically different. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I hope you're excited for these historical challenges to be on the channel. I'm excited to be able to work in the time to get my FHM fix. Again, the most fun I've had with this game has been with these challenges. We'll go with the Anaheim challenge until we beat it. I mean, if we fail, who knows? Maybe we'll just move on and come back to it later. We'll have to figure that out. Looking forward to your feedback down in the comments. Keep in mind as well, if you have not picked up FHM 4, link is in the description. A link is in the description so as to where you could save yourself a nice shiny 10% on FHM 4. So check out the description if you haven't already picked up this wonderful, wonderful game. Like I said, I'm looking forward to your feedback. You know what you can do to support the video and the channel. Leave a like and subscribe if you have not already done so. Links are also in the description to my Twitter and Twitch. Give me a follow on both of those platforms if you haven't already done so. And until next time, guys, have a good one. And I'll catch you later.